This morning, we put the spotlight on micro and small businesses, and we have startup grants for them all courtesy the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. This morning, I have the Honourable Foster Cummings, Minister of Youth Development and National Service, here with me on set. Good morning to you, Minister.
Good morning, Rokas.
Welcome back.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here to talk about our youth programs.
How are you doing?
Doing fine, enjoying the carnival season.
Nice, man. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so tell me about these micro and small businesses startup grants. What is it all about and why are we doing it?
We are, as a government, aimed at supporting small business and our young people in particular. So that the government has introduced as a policy the micro and small business startup grants up to a value of $20,000 that will allow persons who want to get involved in business, who may not be able to qualify for loan facilities from the commercial bank sector, to access this program and be able to establish their businesses, both for self-employment and to create employment for others. So it is a program that we are quite enthusiastic about. The national population, I mean, we launched it about a week ago. A lot of persons are applying, and I think people are looking forward to be able to utilize this facility to establish businesses that they have tried to do for a long time but may not have been able to do it because of a lack of capital.
Okay, so what are the requirements in order to get this grant?
Well, NEDCO is the agency executing the grant.
Okay.
And at the launch, and if you go on the website, you would see that there are a list of conditionalities, one of which would be that you have to have an established business, or at least a registered business, that you have to be able to put together a business plan. You have to undergo training at NEDCO for a 3-week period, where they will, of course, go through with you what you have outlined to them to see, how viable it is and what assistance you may require in terms of mentorship and support. And following that training period, then you will have access to the grant.
All right, so then is it that everybody who's applying has the option of getting that training and that period, or is it that we read it down before that? Is there a limit on how many people can access the grant?
We are aiming at 1,000 per annum.
Okay.
But remember, the grant is up to $20,000.
Right.
We have enough in the pool to give 1,000 person $20,000 each.
Right.
But for a business that may not require that, if you do your plan, you only require $5,000, you're not going to get 20.
Right.
So at the end of the day, we will be able to distribute more than the 1,000 grants that we have budgeted for.
Okay, are there any particular sectors that we're looking at specifically affording these grants to, or is it across the board?
It is across the board. I mean, we are training a lot of persons. We have,
well, that's why I asked him, because I know you're heavy in the agricultural training right now.
In the agricultural training programs we have, particularly the YAP, there is a separate grant for that.
Right.
But the other areas, like the shade house and the aquaponics, aquaculture, they can take advantage of this program. But we're also doing a lot of other areas of training, so that for some of the softer courses, barbering, tailoring, electrical installation, etc., those trainees can also apply for this grant. But it's not limited to the persons that we train. It's across the sector, 60% for young persons, 40% for the rest of the general public. Young
60% of the grant is available for young persons
under
35.
Under 35.
Right, and so you're saying out of the 1,000 that we're supposed to give,
yes,
600 of them go into persons under 35.
That's right.
All right, and the other 400 are available for the rest of the population.
Correct, on spot.
All right. That's fantastic. I saw on the website that one of the sectors that not allowed to apply is if you're going to be involved in like alcohol processing or anything like that.
Well, we try to encourage healthy lifestyles.
So any business that dealing with unhealthy lifestyles is not really welcome?
Correct. I mean, we as a government, we have to have our policy to encourage persons to live healthy lifestyles.
I hear you. And if it is I've been operating a business before, like I don't just go and register one just to be able to apply for this grant. If I've been operating a business before and I need an injection of capital, is that something that I can also apply to for it?
It will be considered. Initially, we had set a cap of the business being in existence for not more than a year and a half, but we've since reconsidered that position based on public requests. And therefore, if you would have started your business 2 or 3 years ago, there's no limitation now on that, and you can apply, because you may have had a very good idea, Rokas, you set up 2 or 3 years ago, and you just didn't have the capital. If you can demonstrate now that with that injection of capital that you will be able to get the business off the ground, it certainly will be considered.
And how long is the process to get the grant after submission of
After submission of the application, there is going to be a period of evaluation, normal administrative work, and then you get into the training period. And once you complete that 3-week period of training, and they're satisfied that you've qualified both on what you have submitted and your interest is demonstrated that you're a serious candidate here, you will get access.
So, but you can give me an idea approximately. So, all right, if I submit my application today, I can say, all right, in 3 months somebody will contact me, in 3 weeks.
Oh no, it will be long before that. But the reason I don't want to give a specific time frame is that if it takes 1 day more, they're going to say, well, the minister said until it is.
I was looking for approximation, so don't hold them to the approximation. Don't hold them to the. I just want to get an idea if it's months waiting to get through.
I would think between 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay,
we should be fine.
You should be able to at least get some sort of response.
Well, more than a response and access to the training, which will lead to
that training in particular. Is it virtual training? Is it in-person training? What sort of training?
It's going to be a combination.
Okay. Yes. And that's happening under NEDCO's watch.
Yes, and in addition to that, they will be able to pair you with a mentor.
Okay.
Somebody with experience in that sector. So if you are new to it, they will pair you with someone who has been able to achieve some level of success.
Now, out of the grants that are available for the 400, right, for the population not under 35,
yes.
I see that the application is only online. If they're having trouble applying online, is there any other way to submit?
They can visit the NEDCO office, and there are customer service persons there who will be more than willing to assist, or they can talk directly to the ministry. We have several youth officers at all our district offices. We're more than willing. They can go into one of our district offices, and they will get assistance to upload there.
All right. One of the things that I've realized over time is that sometimes we give these loans or people get these grants in cases, but is there going to be follow-up to make sure that they're actually doing with the money what the business plan set out to do?
Well, definitely. That's why we have tasked NEDCO with this assignment. During the COVID period, there was a recovery grant that the government offered to many small businesses. NEDCO handled that quite successfully. Hence the reason we have determined that NEDCO will be the agency that will execute this program. So that, yes, there's going to be follow-up, there's going to be monitoring and evaluation. As I said, they're going to have a mentor that will be paired with the successful applicant. The officers from NEDCO, having undergone that 3-week training with you, developed a relationship, will keep checking with you to see how the business is going. There are other support mechanisms within NEDCO, like loans, etc. So if you get the grant, you set up and you're demonstrating that things are working, you can then apply to get a loan to take the business further. It is an ecosystem of support that we have put in place, and I think small and micro business is going to take a leap from now on.
Tell me why the focus on small and micro businesses in particular?
Because of employment generation. It creates activity within the economy. So people are able to take their skill, create a business and get employment for themselves. They're able to create additional employment. You start your own tailoring shop. I mean, if you did a tailoring course, you get your machine, you get your serger, etc. You start to do your thing, you expand, you're able to employ other persons. So it is economic activity, it is employment generation, and it's getting our young people, actively and positively and productively involved in the economy.
I know some people might be confused. We've been talking about grants. We mentioned loans at some point. Do they have to pay back this grant? I want you to be as clear as possible so that everybody understands what it is happening.
Yes, it is a grant because you don't have to pay it back.
Right.
Okay, it is the government giving its support. If you look at it in another way, you can say it is the utilization of our economic resources and spreading it throughout the economy, trickling it down to the small man, so to speak, who may not have the means, but have the technical capacity to set up a business and requires some capital support. The government has determined that they will do that.
Some of the technical capacities that we're speaking about when it comes to setting up businesses. So we say you need to have a registered business, right? It needs to be a properly registered business. But in terms of things like BIR numbers, NIS numbers, you have to have all that information in place as well, yeah?
And that is why I said it's an ecosystem of support, because NEDCO and its officers will then guide you on how to make sure that your statutory requirements are being properly met and administered. So registration with the BIR you mentioned, registration with NIS and all those things. How do you keep your books and your accounts? Because that is important. Many persons are in business but not keeping any proper accounting.
Yeah.
How do you pay your taxes, etc.? So the NEDCO officers will assist you and hold your hand, and that is going to be part of the 3-week training program as well.
Is there a cutoff date for when we stop taking applications for this year?
We have not announced that as yet. We're looking at the response to this program. It's it's very encouraging, and we don't want to lock persons out as yet. But of course, we have to at some point do a cutoff, and then we evaluate what we have had and reopen later on.
All right, and the plan is to have this continue on an annual basis.
Oh yes, the intention is for this program we have a 3-year period of approval. We're going to run it for the first year, try to attract and distribute at 1,000 grant per year, and therefore between the next 3 years we will distribute a minimum of 3,000 grants to small business. Can you imagine the sheer magnitude of that, of having 3,000 new startup businesses operating in Trinidad and Tobago? Even if we get a 50% success rate, we would have done remarkably well in supporting small business.
Is the 3-week training process, is that available for people who are not getting the grant as well? Or can
Well,
we still get that training happening?
NEDCO has other training programs that we offer all the time. If you look at the NEDCO website, you will see all the things we mentioned before: taxation, accounting, etc. How do you use social media to help promote your business?
Marketing.
These courses run all the time at NEDCO, so other persons will have access to that. But for the training for the grant program, it will be specific to those persons who have been shortlisted to access the grant.
Fantastic. Well, Minister, this morning I just want us to get the website right to make sure we know where to send them to apply for the grant. Is msbgrant.com.
That's right.
msbgrant.com. Simple and easy. You can also head across to mydns.gov.tt and get some information. You can also head across to NEDCO's website.
Correct.
And get some information from there as well. Minister, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on this. I look forward to seeing the results of it.
It was a pleasure being here. I hope that citizens will take advantage of this initiative by the government. And of course, we have all the other programs of the MYDNS. You can log on to our website, look at the training programs we have in the various sectors. Young people, it starts with you, but as a government, we are prepared to hold your hand and assist you with your development.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we take a quick break and come back with more in our morning show. Stick around.
Feel like dancing, time for step.